This is a quick start Merlin first run configuration guide using an OpenAI provider. So first of all, Merlin is included in MACE EW installs. It's available from the analysis tab here, and it looks like this. The first time you click on that icon, you'll get a Merlin settings window turn up. And for this quick start guide, all we actually need to do is enable the Merlin MCP server. So it's going to use a local MACE and port, and we don't need to do any more than that. Next time I open Merlin, it will open at this dashboard. This dashboard tells me what is and what isn't configured. MACE is green because it's already connected. So I'm going to start at the top and work my way down. First, we're going to configure a provider. A provider is the organization that provides all the different models. So if I click on the action to go to the providers and click New Provider, you can see in this list all the different providers we support. So providers can be online providers like OpenAI or Google, but there are also options to use a local provider, not online, but we're not covering that in this video. For now, I'm going to select OpenAI as my provider, and I can write a short description in here, which doesn't really do anything, it's just for me. But the important thing is to have the API key pasted in here, and I can save the provider. When you save a provider, it will show you the models that it supports, which can be helpful in our next step. I'm going to go back to the dashboard and I can see that the provider is configured, but my models are not configured. So we've got different types of model here. We've got the multimodal model, which handles all the different input types and prompts and files. We've got a voice to text model, which is how we can speak to the model rather than typing in prompts. And we've got text to voice, which is how the model can speak to us if we want it to read back its prompts. An image generation model, if we want Merlin to generate images, perhaps to put in PowerPoints and things like that. And then we've got default models. Anyway, I'm going to go to the top on this multimodal model. Same as before, add new, select model type, multimodal, select providers. We've only got one at the moment, but if I'd added extra providers, we could choose which provider and then it will list the models there. What I'm going to do is, instead of filling any of this out, I'm just going to go to Find Model, and it will list all of the models. GPT-5.2. I know it's multimodal because that was the type of model I selected. Inputs text, outputs text, confirm. If I save the model, it will automatically fill in the name for me. Now, what I could do is go back to the dashboard again and see that the multimodal model's filled in. Okay, but actually I don't need to keep going back to the dashboard. I can, if I go to settings, this models page will just take me straight back to where we were, and I can just add the rest of the models. So I will add the image generation model, and that's going to be OpenAI as well. Find model, and I'm going to use GPT image 1.5. Save the model, and it fills in the name. To add the next model, which is going to be my voice to text model. So that's how I can speak to the AI. Find model, and again, don't need to write anything in, it'll fill it in for me. And now I want my last one, which is text to voice. So if I want Merlin to speak to me, I'll go to Find Model. And again, I'm going to use a GPT-4. The only thing we don't have is a mission context. If I click on that, it will take me to the mission context page, which is the same as clicking on this in settings. Mission contexts are instructions for the missions that you're building. So I could have several different contexts that I use in several different Merlin sessions. I could have a mission planning context, and I can write some description here. That makes no difference to Merlin, but I can give it some instructions as to what it's supposed to do in these types of sessions. So it's about mission planning, so it helps it choose the right tools based on the context. So say it's writing these things every session, and it will use that context to build the mission. Not it covered in this video will be memories, that it remembers things from sessions for use later on. You can commit things to memories, and files that it can use, as well as maps. So we can edit a map, we can draw shapes on the map and give them names such as friendly forces muster area or red forces helicopter zones and things like that. And it will always know about those things. So if you reference them in your sessions, it will know about those things. But for more information on that, look at the user manual or the more detailed videos that follow. Back to the dashboard, I've now got all green, so I have everything I need on the dashboard. If I look at the settings for a moment, have a look at the general settings, I can set a default mission context to use, so every single time rather than choose it. So I'm going to set mission planning as my default. The default model has already been filled in for us because we've only got one provider there. And then there are some options around the voice to text models that we can change if we'd added more models, and settings around the audio, and if you were using it to send emails and the like. There are plenty of different settings. One last thing, if you are using the map context, you need to select the path for your map. So if you have the data drive that we provide you with MACE, you'll have a worldwide map imagery geopackage, and that would be how you obtain a map to draw on in the mission context. So I'll just quickly demonstrate that. Here's my mission planning context. Now if I open the map, edit a map, I've now got the same worldwide imagery that I had before. And you can use these shape tools up here to add shapes or load your own shapes to make a context. So I can draw a circle and say that that is a friendly area. And then from that point onwards, Merlin will always know when I'm using that context that if I say place some helicopters in the friendly base area, it knows where it is. Okay, so we're ready to go. I'll come over to the Merlin sessions, and my defaults are all filled out here for me. I've got the default model, but I can choose different models. If I'd loaded more than one provider, I can choose the reasoning level, and I can choose one of the contexts. Okay? And to start a session, I press new, and then I simply type my prompt here. Place 2 AH-64 helicopters, call them ugly 11 and 12, and I initiate that way. All our prompts appear in blue. We can see that the AI is thinking about it. If we go to the very top here and click this radio button, we can see the tools that are getting called, which is quite useful. And if there's a thinking step in between, it will show you what it's doing. So here are the tools. It's looking for mission information, looking through the entity list, getting terrain info, and soon it will probably ask to create an entity. Whilst this is running, you can stop it at any time by pressing the stop button, start a new session, and carry on. Instead of typing these prompts, you can also press and hold this microphone button to record a prompt. When it's finished doing what it's doing, it will create a small end prompt back telling you what it has done. Place 2 H-64s, I called them ugly 1 and ugly 12, and expanded the map to show the entire base area, which was obviously something to do with my context. If I zoom in and hover, I've got ugly 12 and ugly 11. I could say, make both helicopters weapons free. There it is, using set weapon posture, and I can see they've both changed to weapons free. If you want to use a file, that's entirely possible too. So if I hit add attachment, I can go to, I've got some files here. I have an electronic order of battle file, which basically has a bunch of threats listed in different places. So I could say, using the attached file, place the red threats correctly, make them weapons free and autonomous, make their engagement posture passive. And really that is all there is to it. It might take longer because it's using a file. It might include some thinking steps. Again, you can always see what tools it's calling, what it's thinking about, and what's going on as you go through. Like I said, you can stop it at any point, open a new session, and move on from there. So while it's thinking about that, if you've got any further questions, the first port of call is the user manual. If you click on that, it will open the Merlin user manual. It's placed my threats, and now those look absolutely spot on to me. I'm just going to place a known point here just to show you lastly how this can actually call the mark tool, but this time I'm going to speak to it. I would like you to plan the lowest risk route to the known point for ugly11. So in that case, it's using our voice to text model. I get a chance to edit it, of course, before it goes in, which is helpful in case I've coughed or said something silly. It's running the MACE mark tool. And it's planned the route, and it's added them as waypoints. So there you go. You can use text prompts, you can use voice prompts, you can use files, and Merlin will execute a great many of the functions that you've come to know and love in the mission planning realm within MACE. If it doesn't know about a function, it will include at the end of its list a tool request. So if it's missing certain things and you want us to add stuff, then please do get back to us at support@bssim.com. Thank you for watching.